Okay, so I finally have my hands on the iPhone Air. Ever since I saw it in leaks and rumors, I've always wanted to hold it in my hands, and the day has finally arrived. Now I have a couple of thoughts about the phone before we move on to the case review, and I think these thoughts are kind of interesting, so let's take a look. Now the first thought is that this phone is incredibly thin. I know you probably have seen other YouTubers say the same thing, but you kind of have to hold the phone in your hand to feel how thin this is. Now I did show it to my family members as well, and I must say everyone loved this phone. In fact, they loved it more than the iPhone 17 and the Pro Max in a couple of cases. But yeah, this phone is incredibly thin. Now the other thing I want to discuss about this phone is the color. Now this is the light gold finish, and the back doesn't look light gold at all. The side railing and the camera ring does, as you can see, but the back just looks white. Maybe it is supposed to be white, but I don't know. I thought the images on Apple's side did look like slightly goldish finish. Anyways, not a huge deal, but something I wanted to mention. Now the third thing I want to say is that this phone should be kept caseless. I know this is a case review video, and me saying that this phone should be kept caseless kind of goes against that. But this phone is so incredibly thin that if you do use a case, it kind of diminishes the point of keeping this phone. Like it doesn't make sense. But I get this phone is expensive. It's about $1,600 in Canada. So if it were me, I would probably also be using a case about 50% of the time. And that is where this video comes in. So we're going to take a look at some of the budget-friendly, clear, and Magsafe compatible cases in this video. If you're a long-time viewer, you probably know that my picks are always Ringke, Spigen, JETech, and ESR. And if you're not a long-time viewer, you should be subscribing right now and helping me hit 20,000 subscribers this year. Now in terms of pricing, Ringke and Spigen have slowly crept up to over $20 at least here in Canada. So that sucks, really sucks. But JETech and ESR are still under $20, which is nice. JETech is, I think, $13 or so, which is the most budget friendly, so I love that. But yeah, it is what it is. Now I do have my MacBook in front of me with a list of features we'll take a look at for each of these cases, so I don't miss anything, because I know in the past some viewers have complained about me not making good case videos, and I would like to change that and keep my viewers coming back and happy. With all that out of the way, let's finally take a look at some of the best cases for this amazing phone. Okay, so the first case we are taking a look at is from Ringke. Now looking at the flexibility of the case, it is slightly flexible. It is basically plastic, so it should be. Now looking at the fit around the phone, fits pretty snug, and actually it is not adding that much of a thickness to the phone as well, so that is good. Hopefully I can show that to you on the camera, and it isn't like adding too much weight to the phone as well, so that's solid. And the other thing we'll take a look at is the back of the case, which is clear and not frosted like I like on my cases. I couldn't find the frosted finish here in Canada. Maybe you can in your region. If you do, I would recommend getting that one because that one is less of a fingerprint magnet, whereas this is going to be a fingerprint magnet, as you might or might not be able to see on the camera right now. Anyways, you'll probably have to take my word for it. Now the next thing we'll take a look at is the display protection. And as I've mentioned in the past about these Ringke cases, the one thing I love is the fact that the case is raised on the top and the bottom, and the rest of the sides are flush with the display if you have a screen protector on, which I do right now. And that way when you are swiping, it doesn't look that bad or doesn't protrude from the side. And that's something that I like about the Ringke cases. Now the next thing we'll take a look at is the camera protection. Now, the camera is well protected, the plateau as I would like to call it. One thing I don't like, or I'm not liking about this case, is the fact that The whole plateau is covered with this plastic finish, and then the single camera has like a raised cutout or raised bar around it, which I don't really like. But it's not that bad, probably okay. And that way, if you do have your phone lying on the back, facing up, it is well protected and the camera is well protected. That is good. The next thing we'll take a look at is the camera control cutout, which you can see is pretty precise. And let's see if it works. It indeed does. And then I can also use the navigation, not the navigation, but the interface for the camera control. And it is indeed really good. So that's solid. Now the next thing we'll take a look at is the button clickiness. And as you can see, the buttons are clicky, tactile, whatever you want to call them. The action button works as well, so that's solid. And the camera button does so as well. And that's good. Now the next part of this is going to be the cutouts at the bottom, I think, which we missed. So let's take a look at that. And they are precise as expected. And hopefully you can see them on the camera. Now the next thing is a Magsafe test. So let's see if the phone charges, which it should. Voila. And then it's the Magsafe strength. So if you've seen my iPhone 17 case video, you probably know that the Ringke magnet is the weakest. And yep, there it is, the Magsafe charger from Case D5L. Now this is a pretty solid charger. It's around 350 grams, I believe. And while it took some time to get the charger off the phone, it indeed did happen, like in the iPhone 17 video, which I didn't like as well. Something to keep in mind if you are looking for a more magnetic strength on the case itself. Now the next thing is the weight of the case, which we'll do at the end of the video, and that way we can compare all the other cases as well. And finally, we'll take a look at how easy or tough it is to remove the case, and it is pretty damn easy, which I like. Some people might not, but I do like it, so that's good. And that is the Ringke case in a nutshell. Overall, pretty solid case. I don't like the magnet strength, but we'll discuss about that more at the end of the video. With that, let's move on to the next case. Okay, so next case we are taking a look at is from ESR, which is the ESR Air Armor, I believe. And looking at the flexibility of the case, it is flexible as expected. And let's take a look at the fit and finish. So the fit feels pretty snug, just like the Ringke. It isn't adding that much of a thickness to the phone. I believe case manufacturers are trying to make these cases as thin as possible for the Air specifically, so that's good. And then the next thing we'll take a look at is the display protection. So even with a screen protector on, you can see the display is well protected by a raised bar, so that's good. And that way you can keep your phone facing down and the display will be protected with a screen protector as well. Now the next thing is the back of the case, which is a glossy finish or a crystal clear finish. I couldn't get the frosted finish here in Canada. Maybe you can in your region, but I could not here, so it is going to be a fingerprint magnet like the Ringke case as well. Something that I won't prefer, but it's up to you if you like it or not. And the next thing we'll take a look at is the camera protection and cutout. So this camera protection is different from the one that we saw on Ringke. It does have a full plastic covering over the plateau, but the raised bar around the phone is not just around the camera like it was on the Ringke case, but in fact it is on the full length of the phone, if you can see. And that is something that I prefer actually. I think that should help the phone not rock on the table, as you can see, so that's good, probably really good. And then the other thing we'll take a look at is the cutout at the bottom, which is precise, and the camera control cutout, which is not a cutout, in fact a button, so we'll have to see how it works. If I can just get my camera to focus, there it is. Yep, there it is. And so let's see how it is. Yep, I can use the camera control interface pretty easily. Swiping is good. So is soft touch, whatever they call it. And yep. Yep, overall pretty good. So I do like the fact that there's no cutout and instead we have this button which is white in color and works really well. The next thing we'll take a look at is the button clickiness, and as you can see the buttons are clicky. So is the action button, as you can see, and then so is the power button. So that's pretty solid. Finally, time to do the Magsafe magnet test. The phone does charge, voila, and the magnet is pretty strong. As you can see, it's not coming off. Yeah, it's an easy pass. Unlike the Ringke, the magnet here is very strong, like it was in the iPhone 17 case, so +1 for that as well. Now, how tough it is to remove the case, let's take a look as well. Not that tough, so that's good. Some people might not like it, but I do. And that's the ESR case overall. Pretty solid, love it. The magnet strength is pretty strong. Just try to get the frosted finish if you want. And then I also like the fact that this button here works pretty well and we don't have a cutout. And then time to look at the next case. Okay, so the next case we are going to take a look at is from JETech, which is the most budget-friendly case on this list. Looking at the flexibility, it is flexible. Looking at the fit around the phone, feels very snug and very thin as well, as I can show you. And then it isn't adding that much weight to the phone as well, which is really good. Now looking at the back of the phone for the finish, it is once again glossy or clear. I couldn't find a frosted finish in JETech as well, but if you can, I would highly recommend that one because this one is going to show fingerprints on the case. Something that I don't like. Now the next thing we'll take a look at is how well the display is protected. So I do have a screen protector on and I feel like the case isn't that raised around the front like the other cases, which is probably not that good of a thing. So in case you keep your phone lying down with a screen protector, it won't be that well protected, especially when it falls down. So I don't really like that. So that's probably a -1 point for JETech. Yeah, I think you can see it on the video as well. Anyways, that actually might be good if you are like swiping from the home screen or to the sides, but not good for the display protection. Now the next thing we'll take a look at is the camera protection. So it is same as Ringke, where the cutout around the camera ring is raised higher than the rest of the plateau, unlike the ESR, which I liked. So that's that. I can show a side angle as well, which probably makes things clearer. And that is the camera cutout. Now looking at the cutouts at the bottom, very precise as expected. The side of the camera control has a cutout as well, not a button, unlike the ESR. So it should probably work as it would without a case. And it does. Now looking at the button clickiness, buttons are clicky as expected. The action button works as well, and the power button works as well, so that's good. Now the next thing on the list is Magsafe test. It works, voila, and the magnets feel pretty strong. Yeah. Oh yeah, pretty strong. As strong as the ESR and stronger than the Ringke. And finally, let's take a look at how easy or tough it is to remove the case. It is relatively okay, so that's good. And that is the JETech case. Very similar to Ringke, I would say, except for the fact that the magnet strength for the Magsafe is more than that case. So that's good for the JETech. Plus, it's the most budget friendly, so if you want that, that is probably good. Now we only have one case left, which is the Spigen, so let's take a look at that one. So the final case in the list is one from Spigen, which is the Ultra Hybrid. Now I was able to get it in the frosted back finish, so that is really good. Looking at the flexibility, it is flexible. The fit on the phone, it feels really snug, and it isn't adding that much of a thickness to the device as well, so that is good. And then we'll take a look at the back. Like I mentioned, this is a frosted back finish, so it is not going to show any fingerprints, which is perfect if you are going to daily this phone. Now the next thing we'll take a look at is the display protection. So even with a screen protector on, we do have the case raised around the display, so that will protect the display in case you like to put your phone facing down or in case of a minor fall. The next thing is the camera cutout. It is very similar to ESR in the fact that the whole plateau seems to be raised, as I will show with a side angle. And then the rest of the plateau is protected with the plastic covering as well. And yeah, like the ESR, this means that the phone won't rock on the table, which is really good. Now the next thing we'll take a look at is the cutouts at the bottom. And if I can probably focus, yeah, these are very precise, so that is really good. And the camera control actually is not a cutout, but in fact a button, if you want to call it, like the ESR, but it's just the same color as the side, so just like a plastic, transparent plastic. Now let's see how it works. Able to launch it, and then also move in between other interfaces. That is good. And yeah, overall I would say it's pretty damn good. Next thing we'll take a look at is the button clickiness. So the buttons do feel clicky, as you can see, and so does the action button, which is working, and then so is the power button, so that's really good. Next thing on the list is Magsafe charging and magnet strength. So the phone is charging, and the magnet strength is also very strong, just like ESR and JETech, unlike Ringke, which was weak. So pretty solid. So those are the 4 cases we have looked at. Now it's time to weigh all of these cases and conclude this long video. Okay, so we've taken a look at all of these 4 cases, and now it's time to weigh each of them and see how much they weigh. So the first one is Ringke. It is 32 grams. The next one is ESR, 35 grams. Next one is JETech, which is just 25 grams, so it is the lightest of the bunch, probably. And then Spigen, which is the heaviest of the bunch, which is at 37. Like I mentioned, this one did feel like it was adding some thickness to the phone, so maybe that's the reason it is heavy. But I'm really amazed by the fact that JETech is the lightest at just 25 grams. So if you want a case that doesn't add a lot of weight to the phone, probably JETech to go with. But like I mentioned, I would try to get a frosted back finish like on the Spigen, and the magnets on JETech were strong, so that's good. But I didn't really like the camera plateau, but the fact that it is the lightest and probably the thinnest of the bunch, I would really have to go with JETech in this case. Now that's it for this video, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about these cases. I'll have the links in the description box down below. Subscribe, like I mentioned, we're trying to hit 20,000 subscribers. And I'll catch you all very soon in the iPhone 17 Pro Max case video.